Hey guys, it's Spacey Sims, and we are back with more Virche Evermore, continuing Eve's route. And we were in Eve's little flashback about how everybody in this goddamn country is a bag of fucking dicks and kinda deserves the torturous deaths they get. Because holy shit, the poor kid was burned by flames. Let's not call him a monster. What the hell, I'm still mad. Anyway.
A few months passed, and then one day, as I was playing out in the garden alone like usual.
So who's okay, I don't know who it is. I finally found you. So you're the boy who's loved by those flowers.
A man introduced himself as a merchant. His face and his voice are a distant memory.
You think it was Anko?
Thinking about it now, I should have been suspicious given how otherworldly he seemed for a supposed merchant.
It was so fucking Anko. Come on. Like, I don't want anyone to tell me, because I don't know if it spoils anything to know that, but like, would you have known by the voice acting? That's my curious question, but at the same time, I don't want you to tell me and be like, yeah, you could tell it definitely is, because like, does that ruin anything? Like, I don't think it would necessarily ruin anything, because we know Anko's a fucking time traveler, basically, so. I mean, they've given us pretty much, like, it seems fairly obvious, so.
I was dying to talk to someone since no one ever wanted to look at me. I did what I could to try to keep him with me for as long as possible, so I accepted his introduction wholeheartedly. But he then started to look at me with a really sad expression.
Oh my god, is the mask that he is like looks like a butterfly. It's not really a CG, but it's kind of like a background. Like it's a kind of a CG. It's like you know what I mean? Anyway. But it looks like a butterfly. Anyway. I don't know who I'm not going to since I don't know it's Anko, I'm not going to do the voice. I'm just going to read it normal cuz who knows, but I'm sorry. I know what fate was to bring, but I still sacrificed your happiness for the sake of my desires. No, that definitely sounds like Anko. Or someone else that is yet to be named that is really sus and controlling the world. You know what I mean, though? Because that's a really fucking sus thing to say. But, like, Anko saying that, you're like, yeah, okay. I sacrificed your happiness for the sake of my desires. But it would be, like, to keep me alive. But the thing is like, okay, so let's just say that's the way it plays out the first time. Then, yes, you could go back and change fate and not, like, let Eve go and deal with this. But you're like, no, I'm just gonna... But would that be wrong? It opens a whole can of worms of questions because... Like... I don't know. There's like a jumble of questions in my brain and I can't organize them because like at some point, like even if you're a time traveler or time is looping, right? It had to start somewhere. There's always a start. Okay? And if the start path was this, Eve rescues us, gets burned. Okay. Yes, Anko is a time traveler, let's say, could go back in time and stop that from happening, but then I would die. But it's not like the original timeline was I was dead because then why would Anko come back and be like, no, I let Eve go in there to save you because like you would never have known me ever. So you know what I'm saying? So in a way, it's not really selfish to be like, I sacrificed your happiness. I could have stopped you, but then she would have died. But that was the original timeline. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. So I don't know unless this is like, or aliens control, whoever, this is some weird science experiment and it has nothing to do with Anko at all. I don't know. But you know what I mean? I'm assuming that this is probably Anko. Look at the big sleeves. Does he have sleeves like that? Anyway, but whatever. I know this isn't worth much, but please, I'd like you to take this as proof of my apology. Just gonna kind of, whatever. Anyway.
I didn't pay him anything, but he still gave me a mask with a beautiful design.
It can't be the same one that you wear because honestly, like, how would it have grown with your face?
I put it on just to give it a try. And it seemed like the people around me reacted a bit better.
Maybe it is on go because it would have magic.
Which was why, ever since then, I made it a duty to put this mask on over my scars so I wouldn't make others around me uncomfortable.
Again, I mean, like, I can understand, like, the instant reaction. Like, if you were walking somewhere and then you saw someone that was, like, disfigured with scars, you'd be like, oh, it's a little bit of a shock because that's not what you're used to seeing. You know what I mean? It's like seeing someone without an arm or a leg. It's a shock to you at first because it's not what you're used to seeing. There is a difference between like, oh, I did not realize that person was missing an arm. Oh, that person has scars on their face. And, oh, you monster! There is a difference in how you process that, like a normal fucking human being who's not a douche. You know what I mean? But, like, there is a little tiny box of what is quote unquote average. I don't want to say normal, but, you know, for human beings. You got 2 arms, you got 2 legs, you got 2 eyeballs, whatever. And if anybody kind of falls outside of that, yes, it's not what your average of what you're used to seeing. It's not your expected outcome when you look at a person. So yeah, it's gonna take you off guard a little. It's the same thing when, like, now you should be so used to seeing people with, like, neon pink hair, it's not a big deal. But, like, in the very years ago, you know, you'd be like, oh, that person's got neon pink hair. Okay, that took me by surprise. But there's a difference between, was not expecting that, and you fucking deal with it because, you know, whatever, and treating fucking Eve the way they fucking have. Like, Jesus! Like, what the shit? Oh my god. And I can understand. I mean, I can't begrudge people for being a little uncomfortable with his scars because not like I don't like looking at you, more like, oh god, what did you go through? That sucks. And like empathizing with how much that had to be traumatic and sucked. You know what I mean? But like, there is a way as the external party to be like, ooh, it makes me uncomfortable because I feel really bad for you, but I don't want to ask about it and whatever, and I'm just going to treat you like a normal fucking person. And what these fuckers do. God, I hate these people. You know what? They all deserve. You know what? I think we should just light this entire fucking country on fire and let them suffer and see what happens. How do you feel now, butt fucks? I hate these people. Aside from the small collection, hell, I'm even putting Jean Camille in that fucking collection of people that, like, you know what? He may be a psycho, but whatever. At least he's better than half the rest of these bitches. Jesus. Really sad when the psycho murderers and, like, demented fucks like him are better than most of these people. Hell, I might rank Capucine above some of these fuckers, and that is just astounding and horrible. The fact that you were so mean to poor Eve with a scar on his face that I might be like, Capucine might be slightly better than you guys. Do you see what goddamn awful vile trash you are? Not the good kind of trash. Just the awful kind. Do you see what I have to do here? You guys suck. Obviously not you guys, you know what I'm talking about. People in this country blow. Jesus, they're the worst. They deserve whatever freaking hellscape they're in. Most of them. The majority of them. God. I'm mad. This rod's gonna make me mad than any... Jesus. Good Lord. Anyway. Eve's memories of the flames were beyond horrific. Eve, too. The majority of his face was burned after saving the heroine from a fire 7 years ago. Now that's funny because it said a third of his face and now it's a majority of his face. Pick a lane, because 1/3 and a majority are not the same. His parents disowned him because of his appearance, and he's been kept at a distance by others ever since. Okay, like, computer, stop. My computer's being stupid. It's because my mouse slid down to my, like, start bar, so then it, like, pops up with this huge thing, and you're like, go away. I also can't believe his parents abandoned him. Like, what? God, awful human beings. Sorry. Sorry. I'm sorry. Sorry. I'm sorry. I was reliving my feelings from before. I felt like wailing from the despair and guilt rising from within me. But I had no right to do that. The one who should be wailing and blaming me was Eve. My fault. My fault! I took away your family and happiness and destroyed your life. I mean, not exactly. I get why she blames herself, because, like, she blames herself for the reason the fire started. Like, I am just a jinx. But, you know, it's not really your fault. He made a choice. If only I hadn't been there then. No. If only I had died earlier. Oh, Anka would have been pissed about that.
Stop! I don't want to hear that from you. I won't let you deny the life of a precious friend, even if it's your own.
So mad at us. I love it when our little labradoodle gets mad, because it's beautiful. Like, he's precious when he's mad. And I mean, like, he's hot. Like, you're like, he's so adorable. Oh, you're getting mad at me. I like this. Nice. And then he goes back to labradoodle face. Okay.
I've no regrets about saving you that day. I lived a life filled with love, being loved by others back then. So it was simply my turn. It was my turn to love and save someone, which is why I decided to help you.
Continuing with a smile. Oh, now we're back to being Eve. For a hot second, I was like, oh my god. You know there has to be a CG where he takes his mask off.
Sure, I now had a mask to hide my burn, but I was still alone. And the fact that I saw how my parents loved each other. I want others to say they love me. Pity for my burns aside, I simply wanted someone to love me.
I kind of absolutely just like what they're doing here. Like, see, that's why I go out and I help people, because I want them to love me and adore me. It's not exactly the kind of love that you really want deep down inside. You want me to love you, like, you know, one individual person, but you're doing this because you're overcompensating for, like, that short window of period of time where, like, people thought you were a monster and hated you and you felt abandoned. Like, that's so sad. Like, okay, someone hug this man, Jesus.
It was around then that my desire to be loved escalated into something abnormal. I thought to myself about what I needed to do in order to have someone love me, despite my hideous face.
Listen, I'm sure he's just talking about the slight spot with scars, but, like, have you looked in a mirror? I'm just saying.
It turned out the answer was very simple. If I help and love others, and then one day, someone will appear who'll love me for who I am.
I mean, it is a little crazy, but, like, everybody in this game is crazy, and it's not like, okay, you're a little crazy. It's a little crazy and sad. You just need to be hugged. Like, no, this is sad. It's so heartbreaking. Poor thing.
With that thought in mind, I left the orphanage a few years later and found a place which became Karun. But life doesn't work how you want it to. No matter how many orders I fulfilled, most everyone already knew who I was and what happened. So they all looked at my mask with pity. I did earn their trust, but I wasn't able to earn anyone's love.
Okay, here's the thing. Well, okay. I'd be like, in all honesty, like, in a normal community where you're helping your neighbors and everything, there would be a kind of love, like a familial love. You'd be like, oh, we're a community, we're family. That kind of, like, love and respect that you'd have for your neighbors and kind of thing. You know? But this place is fucked. So, yeah, no. Yeah. They use you, but they don't really like you, which is just horrible. These people are horrible. But that's not true. Hugo loves you to death. I'm pretty sure Hugo might kill us to get you. I'm just saying. Even if it's just a very intense bromance, Hugo loves you. Pretty sure Adolphe loves you. Cyan doesn't love anyone. So, I mean, that's just, so, you know, that means nothing.
Some girls did say they wanted to be in a relationship with me. Others said they'd be friends with me, but each time I showed them my face, they ran away screaming.
That's horrible.
The same thing happened each and every time. The same thing happened each and every time. Eventually wore out my heart.
The same thing happening each and every... I can't read. I know this.
I pretty much gave up on being loved and decided to place my bets on my next life. As a reliever, making my body from the ground up,
Yeah, but if they take your DNA, okay, here's the interesting thing about being a reliver, right? So if they go and they take your DNA whenever they code your body, like they're taking it from what's in your like genetic makeup, right? So that wouldn't be any scars that you had. You know what I mean? Because the scars are just like time worn things on your body. You know what I mean? It's kind of like how they said, like, oh, if you learned a new skill, or like, okay, you went and you were out of shape and you got your body cloned. But that's the thing. Even then, it's like you got your body cloned. That's not your genetic makeup. You know what I mean? It's because I'm lazy. I'm pudgy because I'm lazy. Like, I'd be fit and buff and strong because I worked out a lot. That's not the way my body naturally would be if I just, existed on the, like, say, calories that I just need to exist and to just do my normal life, like, average. You know what I mean? Like, so, like, yeah, this is one of those things we're not supposed to think too hard about, because it's like, because technically a scar would be something, an external factor of life. Cut your arm, that's not part of, that scar isn't part of your genetic makeup. You know what I mean? Like freckles, birthmarks, hair color, eye color, sure. But his scar was an external fire that happened as a child. He wasn't born that way, right? But you also weren't born fat and you weren't born super buff. So like, if you were like overweight when you got your body cloned, would your body just come out like normal? Or would you come out overweight because that's the way you were when you were cloned? Because then you'd be like, well, why wouldn't your scar be there? Because that's the way your body was photocopied. Like, how does it actually work? Am I not supposed to think about this? Got it. Good. Okay. All right. We're not supposed to think about it because it doesn't make any sense. But like, okay. Anyway.
After all, injuries and diseases would become things of the past.
But that's the thing. Injuries, okay, but the diseases, that's not true though. Well, a disease if you picked it up later in your life. But like we know from Nadia that like even if she became a reliver, she'd still have whatever disease because it's in her genetic makeup. It's not like, oh, I'm perfectly healthy and then I got lung cancer because I was smoking a lot. Well, okay, when I cloned my body, would you still have lung cancer if you cloned it during? But if you did it beforehand, that's not something you were born with. That's something that occurred after the fact. You know what I mean? Just make it make sense. You know what? It's never gonna. I need to let it go, but I can't.
And so, the reason I loved everyone was because I wanted to be loved in return. That day I extended my hand to you, simply because I was hoping you'd be different. I was far from being a good guy. The real source of the kindness that everyone spoke about was not even hypocrisy, but foolish greed.
Like, I still don't think that makes you a bad person. It just makes you a little sad. And not in a bit like, oh, that's sad. It's like, no, that's sad. Like, you're just, you know what I mean? Like, oh.
Even if I was foolish, I didn't want others to go through what I did. I made that decision based on not wanting people to experience the emptiness of the hopeless suffering of being unloved. I needed to show the same love that I wanted to receive.
I mean, there's nothing wrong necessarily with that. Except for the being a doormat kind of part. That sometimes Hugo is like, it's kind of stupid. Like, he's kind of stupid. Like, you're so desperate to be loved, you sometimes might become a doormat. Don't do that, though. But there's really nothing wrong with being like, I want to get happiness, so I'm going to give happiness out to the, like, you know what I mean? Like, put good karma out there to get good karma. There's really nothing wrong with that thought process, really. As long as you don't become a doormat, You gotta look out for yourself still.
Even if my love was twisted, it was worth it if I could save even one person. Which was why
Like, we keep getting that same Eve CG over and over, that same one from the beginning. I'm gonna need you to pony the fuck up and give us new ones, game. What the shit? It's been a while. I don't think have we gotten any new ones at all in his route? Like, fuck are they?
Even if no one ends up loving me, I'll still love everyone no matter what. I won't deny a person's life, regardless of who they are. My philosophy is to accept and love everyone all the same. Well, I do know that I'm abnormal, but I doubt I can change my way of life at this point.
I mean, he is a little crazy, don't get me wrong, but like, it's coming from like a sad place. And at least I'm gonna love everyone. That's not necessarily a bad thing in general. I mean, Lucas is murdering people. So, I mean, you just kind of being a love doormat is fine, I guess. Like,
Human or not, death or not, it's clear to me you're struggling hard to live a good life. And that means you're no different from any other person. Someone that I can love.
oh, that was me. That's him.
Huh, I see. So the love...
Oh, no, wait, we're back to me? Oh, when did we switch back to me? Did I miss it? I must have. Holy crap, I'm... Okay, anyway. So the love he expressed to me back then encompassed everything he went through. I have no idea what's happening anymore. Eve's fever subsided a bit by the time he finished talking. I carefully propped him up so that he wouldn't fall over. As he got up, our eyes met. I could see his eyes regain their light, with the gold from my hair reflecting inside. I didn't know what kind of emotion I should respond with as his translucent eyes captivated me. No amount of apologies would be enough to show him that I was sorry. If possible, I'd like to pay for my sins right now for destroying his life. But the option of atoning with my death was completely denied. If so, the only thing I could do was kiss him. Eve, even if you think you're a fool, your love saved me, Eve. Crying was all I could do now. I was happy to have someone other than Adolphe extend their hand to me. You didn't treat me as death or some kind of poor girl, which made me enjoy life as a normal human. Words weren't enough to express my gratitude. Eve, your love is needed much more than you think. There are a lot of others in this country who have been saved by your kindness. His eyes opened wide. He then let out a smile that could only be expressed as innocent and childlike.
Come on, either smile or cry, not both.
He gently wiped my tears with his finger.
But, thanks. Never expected anyone to talk about my twisted love so positively.
I mean, it is twisted and fucked up, but again, it's not coming from a bad place. It's coming from a sad place. And at least if your fucked up way of dealing with the trauma you've been through is to, like, be kind and nice to people, that's kind of a net positive if you think about it, to the universe. So, like, sure, I mean, it was a little fucked up, but it's not necessarily bad. You know? It's not like I just decided what I was going to do is kidnap people that were ever mean to me and light them on fire in my basement. Okay, that's some fucked up shit. I don't blame you, and I'll help you, because sure, but that is fucked up. And this is like, oh, it's a little fucked up that you're just going to give everyone hugs. I mean, okay, sure. All right, you big-ass Care Bear. Works, I guess. Kind of feel, but you're like, I'm a little more concerned about him than somebody who is like a little bit of a psychopath and murdering people, Lucas. You know, because like, at least you can understand that this, you're like, so your way of, you're not even going to try to, you're like, I'm just going to love people. I mean, again, it's a little weird. It's a little weird. I feel like you're a little unhinged, but like it's not in necessarily a bad way. It's just not, again, what we're used to. You're used to people getting like, I'm mad about my trauma and people were mean to me and I'm gonna fucking kill them. Okay. And this you're like, I'm gonna just go around and give them all hugs. Yeah. They might look at me pathetically and like I'm sad, but like whatever. I will love every single person. I'm gonna put out into the universe good shit. Oh, that's unexpected. Okay. You know, it's very unexpected. Like, still waiting for the other shoe to drop and be like, but is that really it? Is there anything else under there? Are you gonna snap? Because, like, I feel like if anyone was gonna snap, it's gonna be you. I don't know, you know? Like, everybody else, well, okay, so everybody else's tragic is kind of in, like, a very violent, psychotic kind of tragic. You know? Like, there's just so much, like, yeah, like, it's more violent tragic. Like, abusive tragic. Mathis being, like, having his, like, just being a created life form and then his brain being used as a data dump. Like, that's, like, kind of physically abusive. Also mentally, because, you know, Cyan just being physically attacked and everything driven out, and then just the, like, psychological torture they did to him, like, setting him up to take the fall for all sorts of shit and, like, whatever. It was really more in a physical way, I guess. Like, but that was his whole livelihood, you know, that drove him crazy. And then us dying was traumatic emotionally for him, but, like, you know, whatever. There was a lot of more physical violence going on. Lucas was definitely a lot of mental, emotional, and physical violence. And then you've got Eve over here who's literally just, like, emotional trauma. So, like, that's why I feel like, are you going to start going psycho on people? Like, there's just, I don't know. It feels, I guess for the amount of trauma, it feels tame by comparison to everything else that went on in the rest of the game. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm waiting for something else. Something else has got to drop. This can't be it. There's got to be more. Because this is, like, I mean, we're at the very beginning of his route, so yeah, there's going to be more. But, like, I guess for everybody's, like, just the character backstory, emotional trauma, you're like, okay, yeah. We're going to get so much, it's going to get so much worse, though. All right, I feel better. I feel better. It's going to get so much worse. No, but I'm like, really, Eve, this is it? No, right. We got to set up and be like, oh, you poor sad thing. Aww. And then we make it worse, and then we just pile on the trap. Right, okay. I forgot how this game goes. Look, it's been a while, okay? And I've been playing this part very slowly. I normally record a couple parts a day. I've literally recorded the last 4 parts over 4 days, because I'm like, whatever. My washing machine is draining. I hope you can't hear that. Anyway. Eve continued to say that he was glad he mustered the courage to tell me everything. Memories of those flames would never heal, and I was sure Eve's soul would continue to burn, making him suffer to no end. But, Eve, let me formally give you my thanks. Thank you very much for saving my life. My smile may not solve anything, but it was the best I could give him now. I was sure this was the right thing to do. Is he blushing? He's totally blushing. It's adorable.
Same to you. Thanks for being alive and...
Oh my god, are we actually getting a CG? Are we? God damn it, no, it's this one. Okay, I mean, we're flashing back to another... Okay, we got like 3 CGs of him in the very beginning. And, like, I feel like that's been it. I don't think we've gotten another one. And I'm like, we're flashing back to one that we already... Come on. Okay. Technically, the one we saw before that wasn't really a CG. It was like a sketch out of a book. That one doesn't count, but...
I'm deeply grateful to the Lycruses for the miracle of reuniting me with you once again.
Giving thanks to the Lycruses? And actually, it's true because he's got them in his hand, so he was picking them. It's interesting. You keep surprising me, Eve. That said, I was also grateful to the Lycrus Noises for beckoning me toward them that night. You know what would be really interesting? Like, his scars look like one of the Lycrus flowers. And you're like, that would actually be kind of pretty. But everybody thinks, Demon Joe! Because everybody hates these flowers for some fucking reason. That'd be interesting. Anyway. So why were you in the Lycrus field that night, Eve? Looking back at it now, I thought I saw you crying.
Like Guess I was just feeling melancholic. Like that was the place where I belonged.
Yeah, it really is kind of like Art Nouveau butterfly wing-esque. The black and gold on his mask.
Sorry, but I can't explain just yet. I'll tell you about it some other time.
Have we ever told anybody about Anko? Like, I don't think we did in the common route. I know we did to other people later on, like in individual routes and stuff, so I'm wondering if Eve knows who Anko is, and then he's going to tell us, and we're like, I know him too! Oh my god, you guys are friends! Yeah! You know. I'm just saying, that could also then, we go back to when Lucas stabbed everybody, and Anko looked really fucking distraught. And I was like, that seems a little like, maybe it was only suspicious. Maybe it was only sus, because he just seemed like he was closer to him. But if he's the one who gave him the mask or whatever, has some kind of ties to Eve more than we know right now, that could also make a little more sense too. Still, though, I'm pretty sure that was the scene where I was like, that's an Adolphe face, and that's really weird to me now. So, I don't know. You're really making me more curious by putting it that way. I really do suspect that it was Anko that gave him the mask and, like, whatever, because he's like, he seemed a little weird to be, and it's like, and then that would explain why he was in the Lycris field, too. Because that's where we go to find Anko, right? So. It'll be fun to figure out. Oh, here's Hugo being jealous. Really doesn't have a grudge against her. No, it's like she fits into his life as if she's been there since the very beginning. I guess he likes girls like her. I guess he likes girls! I don't know why the jealousy makes me read Hugo like he might be gay. I don't know. I would feel so bad. I don't want to take him away from you. Ooh, chapter 2. You think this is Anko? Well, we'll just go with it, I guess. This is not a curse, but a promise. Thank you, my friend. The Lycris Noirs your bloodline will protect. I promise they'll lead to salvation in the future. Interesting. Uh-huh, okay. So his bloodline, the weird thing they have is to protect the flowers. You know what, though? You know, they'll lead to something in the future. So, wait, would those actually be medicine? But, like, oh, but if you die instantly if you cut them down or whatever. But, Eve was scattering the petals in that fucking CG, and it's like, why aren't you dead from touching them? Something about his blood. Sure, maybe, because everyone's got magic blood going on here, right? We're all just a big giant science experiment. Sure. Whatever it is. And he did talk about eating them. And he ain't dead. So I'm just kind of throwing out there that, like, that last little thing. Oh, your bloodline protects them and they'll be our salvation, whatever. And then Eve ate one. Or has made comments. So it's like, you know? Okay. Anyway, the next day, the fever Eve had late last night was nearly gone, and after a long, well-deserved rest,
I wonder why everyone says my cooking tastes bad.
maybe it's just a matter of taste rather than whether you're a good cook or not. I responded to Eve as I chopped some freshly picked vegetables. I'm glad he's feeling better already. To be honest, I was a bit scared. Also, you eat the death flowers, so... But okay, you know, there was like... Do we talk about this already? The people in ye olde times? Who, like, were the taste testers, not just for kings to be like, oh, poison testers. But it's because there's, like, literally, like, some weird fucking genetic thing where there were people back in, like, the hunter-gatherer days that were, like, not poisoned. They could just tell that something was poison, like, where normal people couldn't. You know what I mean? Like you eat something, you're like, this. Like, I mean, listen, sometimes we all know when certain things are bad, okay? Because it's like, oh, that's a horrible stench or a taste. But there are times where things are bad and you would eat it and you'd be like, no, it tastes fine. And somebody else would be like, that is death. That is poison. You know what I mean? That's like a weird, like being able to wiggle your ears is some kind of weird ass vestigial, like, shit from eons ago, okay? And I think those are the people that ended up being like poison testers for the game. People like, if he dies, then that's safe. Like, you know what I mean? Like, whatever. But like something like that, Eve's family bloodline is something like that. That's why your sense of taste is completely fucking off the map and weird. Because to you it tastes fine, but it's almost like a reverse. To you it tastes fine, but to everyone else it tastes like death. Or you could just be one of those weird people that has no sense of taste. You know what I mean? You know, I mean, who the hell knows? But I feel like it has something to do with your bloodline and like the flowers and whatnot, but more than just a funny little. I feel like it ties more into the plot than just funny little Eve quirk, you know? Scared that my curse of misfortune might cause him to die as a result of his wounds, but he turned out completely fine. Uncle must still be suppressing my power as death. Very possible that Eve falling through the church roof had something to do with me, but if I kept criticizing myself over something that couldn't be proven, I'd only be bothering him. I just had to be more careful. I was still resolved to continue life without being too critical of myself. I then looked down at the ingredients that Eve prepared. Most of them were normal, but now that I had a closer look, I noticed an unusual ingredient on the table, similar to the fish from before. Eve, can I ask where you got all these ingredients?
Most are produce I grew in my garden from seed and whatever I found washed ashore. I use an age-old family method to confirm if the ingredients are good to use, and prepare them just like the fish from last time.
Yeah, an age-old family method. I licked it and it didn't kill me, so we're good. There's something faulty about his method if it causes everyone to collapse. You must really love all sorts of food.
Love? I'd say it's something I inherited from my grandfather and the traditions he passed down. I suppose I do love food, to the point that my grandpa often scolded me for trying to eat something beyond imagination.
That doesn't surprise me. In any case, it seemed like he had grown out of his curiosity just enough to not eat anything that was obviously inedible. The only ingredients he prepared were the ones with potential to not cause harm. Of course, Eve taste tested everything before serving it to anyone, but still.
For some reason, everyone keeps calling it killer food as a joke. Isn't it horrible? After all the love I put into making something good for everyone to eat.
That does sound horrible. Aside from Eve, Mathis was able to eat everything that was served, which means the ingredients themselves couldn't be poisonous or harmful to eat. No, that means nothing. Mathis isn't even a real boy. So, Eve might not be a real boy either. He's a motherfucking robot. I wondered if that meant the dishes were bursting with so much flavor that everyone else was just startled. You didn't eat any of his cooking when we lived with him? I don't remember, but I guess not. If we take off his mask, is your scar just going to be like circuitry because you're a fucking robot? That would also be awesome. Just saying.
So I decided to have to train to win back my position on meal duty. So here's hoping you'll help me, Chef. I'll stay close while you're cooking so I can learn a thing or two from you.
I'm not as good as a chef, but if watching me can help. Sensing his willingness to challenge himself, I turned toward the small fish in the bowl, which was jumping again in fear. Look at that poor little fish. Don't kill it. It's so cute. Looks like Puffy's jumping around again.
Puffy?
Oh, your fish over there. It's round and puffy, so I just started thinking of it as Puffy. After feeding it a few times, it sort of grew on me.
That sure is a cute name. I guess I should call it that too. Be sure to grow big and delicious with all the love she gives you, Puffy.
Eve sounded like a predator. Oh, Eve sounds like a predator. Yeah, also, you can't name it and then eat it. That's the whole point of me naming it Puffy. The whole point of me naming it Puffy was so that you wouldn't want to eat it. Puffy must feel like a criminal waiting to be executed. In any case, after all the talk about him yesterday, it's like, what was Homer's lobster's name in The Simpsons? But he had his pet lobster, and he was like, "I'm gonna give you a nice hot bath." And they ended up fucking killing it because you can't put lobsters in boiling hot baths. And then he cried sadly as he ate it. What the fuck? Was his name Pinchy? I don't know. But anyway, like, was it Pinchy? Dear God, I don't know why it's the only thing that popped into my head. In any case, after all that talk about him yesterday, I was glad to know he was still approaching me with his usual kindness. I was thinking of preparing some stew for everyone at the Corps today. Would you like to help, Eve? Having him cut some vegetables shouldn't do any harm.
Sure thing. Oh, let me go to the storage room and get some interesting potatoes I just harvested.
Potatoes? I guess that wouldn't change the flavor of the stew, so it should be fine. He just said interesting potatoes. I think that should be your flag, girl. And now we're at the hospital and Eve looks sad. Look at his little sad face. Dr. Capucine, it's Eve. Eve's skin. So, an unknown ingredient has caused swelling where it came into contact with his skin. I assume it's from a poisonous compound that exists in the ingredient he touched.
I harvested them with gloves on, so I didn't notice they were poisonous at all.
Of equal concern is how you're able to maintain such calm composure when the pain should be excruciating. See, also, he can't feel pain. He has a very low pain tolerance, or very high pain tolerance. His pain tolerance is just exceptional. So, robot. I'm calling it. He's literally robot. No, never mind. Just take this as a lesson to never touch it again.
Wait, I think they taste great once they're mixed with some herbs and spices.
Don't touch them again, period. Unless you plan on traumatizing her through all this food. His skin! Eve's skin! I did it again!
I'm sorry, Spacey. I didn't want you to remember what happened before.
This isn't about me. You need to take better care of yourself, Eve. And so another day of interesting events passed. He is a clumsy, ridiculous little labradoodle, isn't he? He's a danger. He might be Daphne. He's the danger-prone one. Life at Karoon continued to be peaceful. Well, I mean, peaceful. Some quotes around that, like, question mark, maybe. Mother, I'll be going to help Eve again today. Hey, glad to see you right on time as always. You've been a savior with all the tasty meals you've served.
Good morning, Spacey. We got plenty of orders again today, so let's do our best.
Okay, I'm ready to help anytime. I was greeted by two familiar voices before starting my day here. See, Hugo seems nice, and then other times he gets really jealous. I'm very concerned. Many thanks. Not only did you fix my food stand, but you even cleaned the decorations. Would you look at that? Can't say I've seen that level of detail from men before. Well, I'm glad I could be of help. Oh, you blushing at us again. And Hugo looking really, really perplexed about... Oh. You look happy.
Who wouldn't be when their friends being praised like that?
Hugo looks so jealous about that. Look, he does not like it. Oh, God. Doesn't seem like the fish are biting.
Well, fishing's all about patience. But still, this is pretty bad. I wonder what I'll say if I can't catch any by tomorrow morning.
Don't you worry, rookies. Let the fishing master Hugo take care of things. See? Eve, look at me! Look at me! Look at me! Don't look at her, look at me! There you go. At this rate, we'll have enough to spare for us to eat for this rate, we'll have enough to spare for us to eat for tonight. Jesus, I can't read. Wow, it's huge! You're amazing, Hugo.
You're definitely a fishing pro.
Shower me with praise. I might fish something even bigger if you keep it up. Like, Hugo is really happy that Eve praised him.
And now that we can have fun with our friends from Karun again and practice interacting with others. Eve, Hugo, let's have a sword fight again. We'll be the Corps, so you be the Royal Backguard soldiers.
Hey, brats, you got the roles backwards. We're always the Corps, aren't we?
The Royal Guards aren't bad guys. How can we change your minds about that?
Hey, do you want to sew with us over there?
Do you mean me?
Yeah, you're part of Karun, right? We don't care about all the weird rumors.
Well, now, I'm so glad you folks accepted my order to work as guards. I love the fact that we get to see everybody. We got to see Cyan. We get to see Dot. Oh. There's no way around it. When you're this cute and important, the ruffians in Coen tend to come out in packs. Oh. He is adorable. Oh, by the way, ever since the incident, it looks like word about Karun spread to Cernival, too. Cyan in particular subscribed to the local newspaper to check on your activities, so you might get an order from him, too. Cyan? That's a surprise.
Come to think of it, I haven't thanked him for what he did. I could repay him for his help if he places an order with me. Mathis.
Excuse me, but can I move yet?
Not yet. I've almost solidified the concept, so please stay still. I should add a few more elements to Eve's character in my novel.
Forgive us. It won't be much longer. The Master's very serious about writing a novel based on the two of you and your experiences during the incident. Well, it's a good thing he found a new obsession. Indeed, I suppose hearing about your accomplishments has inspired the Master to do more than remain in the mansion.
Thanks for staying out so late. If you don't mind that I brewed it, here's a cup of tea for you.
Thank you very much, Eve.
So, have you found any information about Boro by any chance?
No, not yet. The only person I found so far was a man who looked to be a martial arts enthusiast. But he didn't have the same build, and he's already dead, so I don't think it's him.
Wait a sec. You might have found the record of our teacher. I remember he asked me once to clean his house.
Ah, I see. The record did say he was the leader of the Corps. I guess it isn't going to be easy finding relevant information. Well, you totally found the biggest goddamn relevant information that you're ever going to find. The leader of the Corps is the father of the man who's murdering everyone? Yes. We know that now, but
Yeah, but we're not in any rush, so just take your time.
Sorry, I don't know why reading lately is making me tired.
I'll help whenever I can, too. I can even try to remember additional details for some of the records if need be.
That sounds great. I'd also love to hear how you started Karun. Goes in the other room, just getting pissed. Say, have you heard? That Death Girl's been hanging around Eve lately. Of all her victims... Hey, don't say that! She's actually a pretty nice girl once you get to know her. Yeah, she's really thorough with work, and she's somehow able to help that Eve when he gets in over his head. Listen to you, it's not like she suddenly changed overnight, you know.
It's true she's not as scary in person. Don't be jealous just because you fancy Eve.
Oh, speak of the devil! Me or Eve? Hey, you two! On another date today, are ya? Nice to see you so friendly with each other. Makes me want to have a lover or two myself.
Don't be so preoccupied with your girlfriend. Come see us too sometime, Eve.
Aw, I know we're blushing, but he's adorable when he looks awkwardly blushy. Aw. Upon seeing us walking together, the other residents began teasing us. Eve and I quietly continued on our way back to Karun to see Hugo, who had to do some work on his own. Oh yeah, Hugo would be fucking livid if he heard this.
Sorry. I think some weird rumors spreading since we've been together a lot recently.
Don't worry, you don't need to apologize. I hadn't expected that they'd be staring and whispering about us both now. I'm just relieved that they're actually talking to me. It's like a dream. I'm not upset at all. In fact, I'm so happy that I could cry. Eve smiled at me happily. His honesty and open heart, along with the teasing from the others who knew him, made me feel ticklish in a way I couldn't describe. I did know that Eve was someone who could love anyone freely, even if it wasn't me. I returned his smile with that in mind. We returned to Karoon. I was on meal duty for the Corps and planned to head to Adolphe's with them before Eve's patrol shift tonight. With Hugo by our side, we brought the cooked dishes and drinks to Adolphe's house. It was like, we returned to Karoon, and I was like, that looks like Adolphe's house. And then I was like, okay. Hey, looks like Adolphe's little sis cooked us some tasty food again. I bet they go well with drinks. Let me have just a quick bite.
How is it? I practiced a lot to become a better cook, so I sneaked in a dish with the others, and I sneaked in one dish with the others, and
Look at him in his cute little frilly collar. Ah! Ah! We've got another casualty!
no good. I thought it was perfect this time.
Damn it, Eve, you bastard! What do you think we come here to rest for? The members of the Corps had come to terms with my cooking and actually welcomed it with open arms now. I was used to seeing my meals and drinks spread out across the table, with everyone fighting for the first helping. It was probably the gray-looking one. They shouldn't have eaten it. I see. So you don't have any information on Boro yet. As everyone continued to eat and chat, I went over to talk to Adolphe and share what information I learned so far. I've been looking into the suicides and trying to confirm whether drugs or disease really were the culprits, but no luck, huh? Yeah, we haven't seen any similar incidents since, but for some reason, it doesn't feel right. I hope I'm just imagining things. Still, I can't rule out either drugs or disease at this point. So keep on the lookout until we know for sure things are safe now. Got it? Yeah, I will. I then glanced at Eve. Eve, are you going to spend the night here after your shift?
Yeah, I'll probably crash after a few drinks. Well, what about you? You can stay and enjoy dinner with everyone now you're part of the family.
Yeah, it's good to stay up late sometimes. I suppose. Well, if y'all don't mind. Adolphe, is that all right? I'll need your help cleaning up later. I couldn't help but chuckle as I remember the chaos from last time. Eve, if you don't mind. Here, some of your favorites to snack on tonight. You should have some if you get hungry.
Huh? You sure? Well, thanks. I can't wait to have them.
Oh, now he looks, look at his, surprised that he's, blushing all the time. Don't do this in front of Hugo. Oh, look at the lovebirds. You two are like newlyweds. Even I froze as everyone hollered with excitement. Everyone except you. Despite not drinking a drop of wine yet, the noise continued well after everyone came back from their rounds.
Boy, wine sure tastes great with Spacey's cooking. Maybe we should just open all the bottles I brought already.
Yeah, go for it!
Thanks, everyone. I love y'all. And I'll drink until there isn't a single drop left.
That's our boy! We love you too! Sure is peaceful. Rowdy, but peaceful. I'd like to know what you mean when you say peaceful. I love the fact that Adolphe is the crotchety old grandpa. Everyone kept eating as they drank. I sat on the sofa looking around the room at the festivities as Adolphe and the others continued drinking. It's peaceful, all right. Not as many issues as before. Plus, you saved the Corps and Karoon by making it safe to eat again. I'll take care of Eve if he knocks himself out cold, so don't worry. I know I say this all the time, but you really only look out for Eve and no one else. Yeah, see? Because you're in love with him. Oh well, I guess I can turn a blind eye to whatever he's going to do tonight. After all, the rumors about you as Death have been thinning out since you started working with Eve. Adolphe looked at me with his drink in hand. Look, he looks at us so preciously. There's something about the look on his face right now. See, okay, I can't. I was like, see, look at, he's looking at me with those, and there's something about that look on his face that's giving me Anko vibes. Okay, stop. And not only that, but you look a whole lot better now. I guess it was the right call to decide to work with him. It's because you and Mother wholeheartedly supported me, Adolphe. It's really fun being with Eve. Feels like my world's expanding every day. In fact, I've been laughing so much lately that my jaw's hurting. A lifetime's worth of laughs. And that aside, are the rumors spreading around Cohen true? Rumors? About who you and Eve are lovers. Yeah, like, Adolphe actually looks like he's okay with this. He doesn't look like, are you? He's like, is it true? What? I blushed at Adolphe's sudden inquiry. It's not true at all. Everyone is just misunderstood since we're often seen working together. And I think Eve's too good for me anyway. Oh, really? Adolphe and Hugo were among the very few who knew about how Eve got the burn scar on his face. And it's interesting because I would have expected the way Hugo kind of like... Maybe he's just really overprotective of Eve, and he's like, keep away from her because she hurt you. And he's like, no, okay, he's okay with this, wait. And like, because like, right now he's being like, totally fine and not giving us any weird attitude. Which he never did before, it's only recently that we've just seen him being a little weird, you know? And just based on looks, he's pretty popular. A lot of women have expressed interest in him. If you don't act quickly, someone else is gonna swoop in. No, because then they all freak out because he wears a mask and he clearly has burn scars and, like, they're fucking shocked about it. He spoke in a low voice before taking a sip, and my face flushed bright red as if I was the one drinking. Where did that come from, Adolphe? Don't surprise me like that. I know Adolphe's, like, shipping it. I like it. It's not like I can... Hey, Adolphe, don't work her up like that for no reason. Eve's gonna be a reliver. Even if they fall in love, we already know he's gonna forget everything once he revives. I know that, but... Well, you know, it's not like I really know Eve, and I've never seen him in that way before. I'm fine just being his friend. Look, now Adolphe looks so like... Oh no, look, they're sad. Despite the words I said, I felt a strange prickling in my chest. How arrogant of me. I should be happy he didn't harbor a grudge toward me over what happened. As the person responsible for his scars, wanting to be more than friends was something I could never wish for. Hey, looks like he finally collapsed. He was drinking way more than usual. I think he opened up 3 bottles on his own. You mind taking care of your hubby here? You talking to Hugo? The man brought Eve by the shoulder and proceeded to drop him right beside me. His head wobbled, obviously groggy, and before long, he slumped over with his head right on my lap. What am I supposed to do? Just stay still. The other should pass out soon, so I'll get some blankets. After a brief sigh, Adolphe dragged 2 of his men across the floor outside the room. As if that was a signal to tell everyone that the party was over, the others in the room began helping up those on the floor and followed after Adolphe. A few moments later, the only ones seated were me, Eve, and Hugo. If you don't mind, can you keep him on your lap until the sleeping area's ready? Eve's a horrible sleeper when he's drunk. He sleepwalks and moves all over the place if you let him. Okay. I looked down at Eve, who was snoring softly. Poke his cheek. Stroke his hair! Don't poke him in the cheek! Poking his cheek is like I'm trying to wake you up. I don't want you on me. Like, poke, poke. Like, or you're doing something silly. You're like, poke, be a goofy. Stroking his hair is loving and tender, and that's the way we want to do this right now. Fuck yeah! Noticing how soft his hair looked, I stroked it gently. Eve rubbed his cheek against my lap. Oh, not just once, but repeatedly, as though he was snuggling against me. That's adorable, and I love it. Eve, the tickles! Adolphe seems mad now. It wasn't surprising to see Adolphe bring his fist down on Eve's head, but Eve didn't budge or react one bit, and instead continued to sleep soundly. You were literally just being like, you better make your move, girl, and now you're like, Eve, how dare you? Adelphi, what fucking mood swing is this? He is kind of cute like this. It was strange to think of how much more innocent he looked when when asleep. Wow. Would you look at that? Wish I could rest my head on a pretty little lap. Did you hear? Seems like others in Cohen have been finding someone for themselves too because of them. Can't blame them. I'd want to find a lover myself after seeing them all lovey-dovey like that. I figured I'd lose my memories of love once I become a reliver, so I was thinking of just finding some random girl, but hell. Yeah, maybe I should start looking for someone I can really fall in love with. Oh shoot. I completely forgot I was in clear view of everyone. Hey, guy, we can hear you. Stop making things up without asking them the truth. Come on, Hugo, you know we're just joking. What's the matter with you? Oh, wait a minute. I bet you're into her too. I mean, I wouldn't say no to that. I love Hugo, but I think Hugo's more into Eve. Huh? Huh? So it's a love triangle! I think it is, but I don't think the sides are where you think they are. Guess that makes sense, seeing how much time you both spend with her. That's nothing to joke about, stupid. Besides, you got it all wrong. If anything, Spacey's like a little sister. You got it all wrong. I'm in love with Eve. Wait, what? What did I just say out loud? Oh, that's going to be the one part I'm going to hate really desperately if they made Hugo gay for Eve, because, like, I'm going to feel really bad about breaking up the bromance. Don't forget I'm already a liver. I got no interest in complicating things. My hands are full enough with goody two-shoes there. Hugo looked over at Eve as he continued to sleep when, after a light cough, he quickly grabbed his chest with his right hand. Hugo, are you alright? Are you feeling okay? Yeah. Well, I think I just drank a little too much tonight. I'll take you back to the orphanage before I drop. Can't have the sister worrying about you being late. It was probably Eve's job to take me back, but Hugo chuckled and got ready instead. Is Hugo, like, succumbing right now? He's a reliver, but, like, that doesn't mean that, like, obviously he's still, like, oh no. Are we gonna have, like, Hugo goes, becomes a reliver again, and then actually snaps? Because you can see he's got some anger management issues. Which, like, I mean, legitimately, it's like he's defending Eve, he's defending other people, like, whatever, but he does. But you're like, but it's in the, well, that could be dangerous because we've seen how other people overreact and, like, flip out and shit like that. So, like, before, even if he was a little overprotective and a little aggressive sometimes, it's like, in a good way, you know? But now we're stepping on his toes, stealing away his boyfriend. Like, even if it's just a bromance, even if it's not like actual romantic, you know what I mean? Like, we're still kind of stepping on his toes and like taking his plate, and it's still like, you know, like there's still a jealousy angle here that they're kind of like seeping in. So like you could see that like, oh, Hugo would go, he becomes oh, he's got to go get his new body, okay, and then he comes back and then he completely fucking snaps. If Hugo's gonna snap and kill us or be a psycho, that's the only way I'll accept it. Is like he goes, gets his new reliver body, and then loses it. Because then in every other aspect, you could be like, he's fine in all the other ones. It's okay. He doesn't lose his mind. So like, I don't know. Anyway, I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.